Perry Pencil.
Hello, this is Perry Pencil, and today we're going to be focusing on Colossus. With this tutorial, I'm going to be dealing with how to deal with his bust. So that's just going to be his head and his shoulders pretty much. And he's a very likable character. I followed him way back in the 80s when I started reading comic books. I love how Colossus was portrayed in the movie and Deadpool series 1 and 2. So let's jump on in and find out how to learn how to draw Colossus. Alright, let's jump on in and divide your page in half immediately. Go ahead and put a border at the top so that way when you put the top of his hair in, you have room for the top so his hair is not going off the page. Once completed, let's put 2 lines in for his neck and a line for his hairline. Once you've done that, let's put temple lines in. Notice I'm doing this in a very sketchy format. Let's put a base of his neck in, which is an oval shape. And go ahead and measure from his top of his head to his chest, which goes off the page. Using our index and thumb, moving it to the right and putting his right shoulder in, sliding it over to the left and putting a mark for his left shoulder. Immediately after that, we will go ahead and shape his shoulders in. He's very muscular, so you want to go ahead and put an arc that goes up behind his neck. And then of course in the front, the upper chest, you want to put a line in for that, or a curve rather, and then have the rest of his bust go off the page. I'm going to simply put 2 nice circles in for his shoulders. Put the top portion of the cylinders in for his arms, the lower part of his arms, but you're not going to see this whole entire arm, so you can let the rest of that go off the page. Now we're going to focus on his face. Put a line across for his eyes. I'm going ahead and coming off the temple line and putting his jawline in here. I'm starting off with Colossus being very angular. So if you notice for his chin, it's pretty much squared and not rounded. And this right here, at this point, what I'm doing is mapping in the shape so that you can go ahead and get form to his face, the bottom part of his face. And immediately I'm jumping on in to his hairline here. He does have a widow's peak, so the hairline's going to come down in the center. And then go back up on the other side. Now he does have a flat top, so what you want to do is come off of the side, and then after you do that, you can go ahead and jump on in and put a oval shape for both ears. And please keep in mind as you're learning to draw or looking at this tutorial that the fundamentals are important, so learning where things go and how things relate to one another is important. So we're going to immediately start with his eyebrow. And we got a frown coming in right off the forehead and into the frown of his eyes. And he has wrinkles at the top here. Oval shape for his eyes. I always put one in the center to kind of measure the distance between the 2 eyes. And you kind of want to make his facial expression like the sun is in his eyes. He's kind of squinting a little bit, and he's not wide-eyed like he's surprised or anything. So his facial expression is more like he's concentrating, like walking towards whoever it is that he's about to have a battle with. If you notice the Colossus image on the left is a good reference point as well, that you can kind of going back and forth while you're doing the tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of detail in the ears here. Now for the bridge of his nose, we're just going to put 2 lines in here, and it's basically a rectangular shape with an upside down triangular shape. And notice that I come from the center off the side of his nose here. And off of that shape, you can put in nostrils, and then put in the base of his nose and the line for his nostrils on the other side. And then close off that the left side, because that's where the shadow side is going to be later on when you go to ink or whatever it is that you need to do. Always pick one side or the other, the nostril or the nose rather, and I usually pick the left side sometimes. Now notice I'm indicating here where to put the lips in. Off of the nostrils, it flares out to where the chin is. It lets you know how wide his mouth should be. Go ahead and close the top. If you notice, I use 3 ellipses or 3 oval shapes for the top lip and 2 for the bottom. It helps give structure to how to draw the lips so that they have a little bit of form to them. And Colossus does have high cheekbones, so we're going to put those cheekbones in there because he's metallic. It's going to be a little bit more pronounced, and you see it a little bit more. And we're not looking at a youthful Colossus, so he's going to have a little bit more wrinkles than ordinarily, or let's just say who he is has more wrinkle lines, showing that he's a little bit older than, let's say, a teenager or early 20-year-old would be. Now I'm concentrating on the top of his head and or hair. So we're repeating the shape of his hairline that goes to the peak down to the forehead, and then we're going to just wrap that around and make that top an oval. Although it's a flat top, when he's kind of leaning forward a little bit, you'll see the top of his hair. I'm going to do a little bit of shading here so that you can see where the shadow falls, where the light is coming from the right, and it, of course it's a shadow on the left, and then you have a little bit of shadow on the right as well. But because he's metallic, you're going to see a little bit of gradation between highlight and shadow because it's metal. Now overall, we're going to work on his torso, or his upper portion of his body, which would be his bust. Go ahead and put a line in for his neck. And he's a bit more beefier than most characters, so he's a little larger, so his neck's going to be a little bit more massive. And here I'm indicating and putting in the lines that's in his neck. These are more likely, in terms of the character of Colossus, the coils that allows him to turn his head and move when he puts the metal on, and the way the anatomy works. It was an indication that when he turns into metal, he can still turn his head instead of completely being metallic and not being able to move at all, which is kind of cool. But if you notice, I'm putting oval shapes in that wraps around and gives form to the portion of his neck or shoulder. Here I'm going to go ahead and put some shadowing in underneath the eyebrow, so that way it distinguishes from the rest of his face. It's not as flat, so you can see that that's a completely negative space. So you use the side of your pencil to go ahead on and cover those areas and shade. Now here I'm going to be concentrating on his vest that he's wearing. So you want to put an oval shape that wraps around the shoulder area, and then have a line that comes down the center to indicate that the front of the vest is a zip up. And the vest is going to come down right to about It overlaps the shoulder a little bit, so make sure that you remember to put these lines in overlapping the shoulder, or else it looks like a tank top instead of a vest. Here, this is the bottom portion of the V shape that's on the vest, and that goes off of the page, so you only see the top portion of that. And then also in regards to the right portion of his body or bust, you want to do the same thing on the left side regarding the vest. They have the same shapes and have the same quality of the line weight. And then you want to go ahead and come back in here and put a little bit at a time. Bag is under his eyes, things like that, to add a little bit more detail. Now we're going to concentrate on his shoulder. And if you notice, I'm repeating the same process that was done on his neck. The difference on his shoulder is that the lines are going to be a bit wider because it's a larger portion of his body. And repeat the same process for his left arm. And notice the different directions that I have with these lines. This is very important because his left arm is swinging, coming forward, just like on the image on the left here, showing his whole body. And his right arm is going back because he's in a walking position. So the lines are going to be going down on the right and then upward on the left. Shading that upper lip just a little bit. And that's going to complete this drawing. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please leave a comment in the comment section. Remember, there's no negative comment to me. You can be as honest as you like. Let me know how much you like it or dislike it. And until next time, take care. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe by pressing this round button at the bottom. Also, click on one of the two top videos at the top. Please like this video, tell a friend, and share it on Facebook. Thank you. Perry Pencil.